Welcome to Rob on Holiday. In today's video, we're sharing a list of the top 10 things to see and do in Paris. Paris is one of the most visited cities in the world, and it's home to several world-famous landmarks, so choosing just 10 places to include in this list was quite a challenge. But if, like us, you'll only be in Paris for the weekend, this list covers the absolute must-sees in the City of Light. At number 10 is the River Seine. The River Seine runs right through the centre of Paris, and many of the city's most popular tourist attractions sit along its banks. Still, we think that the River Seine is worthy of its own place in the top 10 list because a walk along its bank is a quintessential Parisian experience. Along the river there's a new stunning view every minute. Some of our favourite places by the river in the centre of the city are the Promenade du Cours de la Reine between Place de la Concorde and Pont Alexandre III, Promenade d'Australie between the Eiffel Tower and the Bir Hakeim Bridge, and the Quai Saint-Michel by NotreDame Cathedral. If you'd rather sit back and sail by the sights of Paris, the River Seine cruise is another great option. Cruises set off regularly from several docks in the centre and offer great views of many must-see attractions including the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre and Notre Dame. Speaking of which, at number 9 is Notre Dame Cathedral. Notre Dame Cathedral might be Paris's most famous religious building nowadays, but this wasn't always the case. Although the cathedral dates back to 1163, it was Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame that gave the building its legendary status. As many of you will know, Notre Dame unfortunately suffered a devastating fire in 2019, and it's only just reopened following significant reconstruction efforts. The cathedral has now been restored to its former glory, with its stunning Gothic architectural style and beautiful stained glass windows. It's free to visit Notre Dame, but we recommend that you register for a time slot online to avoid long lines. You can generally do this on the morning of your visit. At number 8 is the Jarden de Luxmbborg. The Jarden de Luxmbborg is a 25-hectare park to the south of the city centre. The garden is a beautiful place for an afternoon walk, with its colourful flower beds, central pond and the facade of the Palace de Luxembourg itself. It's also worth heading to the far left of the gardens to see a replica of the Statue of Liberty. This is one of two replicas of the statue found in Paris. The other is located on the River Seine in the middle of the River Seine. The Jarden de Luxembourg is also home to several cafes and drink stands, so it's the perfect place to sit back, relax and take in the view on a sunny afternoon. At number 7 is the Catacombs. Arguably Paris's most macabre attraction, the Catacombs are a series of underground tunnels that stretch for over 3 square miles across the entire city. They were built in the 18th century to relieve pressure on the city's cemeteries and are now home to the remains of over 6 million Parisians. While most of the tunnel network is off limits, a 1-mile stretch of the catacombs is open to the public near Place d'Enfer Rochereau. A visit takes approximately 1 hour and tickets cost €31 and can be booked by the Catacombs official website up to 7 days in advance. Walking through the catacombs is a spooky and atmospheric experience, and it's not for everyone, but if you're interested in the darker side of Paris, it's definitely something to check out. Just be aware that you'll have to climb approximately 130 stairs to exit the catacombs at the end of your visit. At number 6, Montmartre. Montmartre is the bohemian district of Paris, and walking along its cobbled streets and admiring its quaint cafe facades transports you back to another age. Particular highlights of a visit to Montmartre include Place du Tertre, which is lined on all sides with traditional cafes and restaurants, Rue de l'Abreuvoir and La Maison Rose, Rue Girardon, the Passe Muraille, a statue of a man passing through a wall, the Moulin Rouge and the Sakraur, but more on that later in this list. If you have time, we also highly recommend visiting Montmartre at night, when the cafe terraces are illuminated with magical fairy lights, giving the whole place a fairy tale feel. Into the top 5 now, and at number 5, the Louvre Museum. The Louvre Museum is the most visited museum in the world, and while we're not usually massive museum fans, the Louvre is more than just a museum. But let's start by discussing some of its signature exhibits. The Louvre is home to approximately 35,000 works of art, and you could spend several days at the museum if you wanted to see everything. If you're on a quick trip to Paris and only have a few hours at the Louvre, we recommend that you prioritise the Mona Lisa, the Venus de Milo, the French crown jewels, the ancient Egyptian section where you can see the Louvre Sphinx, and the history of the Louvre section. Aside from the art pieces themselves, the Louvre is worth visiting for its architecture. The glass pyramids outside the main building are an iconic symbol of Paris and are worth a quick visit even if you don't plan on going inside the museum. Tickets for the Louvre cost €22 and should be booked several months in advance as they often sell out. Number 4. The Plaster Truck. The Plaster Truck offers one of the most popular views of the Eiffel Tower in the entire city. And this view is so spectacular that we think it deserves its own spot on our top 10 list. Dating back to 1869, the Plaster Truck offers an unobstructed and elevated view of the Eiffel Tower, which is particularly stunning at night when you can see the tower illuminated against the night sky. And try to be in the square on the hour, because every hour, on the hour, after sunset until 11 PM, there is a light show on the Eiffel Tower that you won't want to miss, where the tower twinkles with bright white lights. At number 3, the Sakraur. Whilst technically part of the Monatra district, the Sakraur is worth its own place on our top 10 list. This 19th century basilica has a stunning pristine white facade and sits majestically on top of a hill overlooking the rest of the city. The Sakraur is just as impressive on the inside, with its stone columns and intricate frescoes on the ceiling of the central dome. It's free to visit the inside of the Sakraur, but you can pay €8 to climb the 300 steps to the top of the dome for a bird's eye view of the city below. And, top tip, you can take the Monatra funicular from the Place Saint-Pierre up to the Sakraur to avoid climbing yet more steps. These two top attractions are both absolute must-dos and are both truly iconic world landmarks. At number 2, it's the Arc de Triomphe. Built between 1806 and 1836 and commissioned by Napoleon to commemorate French military victories, the Arc de Triomphe stands at the centre of the Place Charles de Gaulle, just off the Champs-Élysées. Whilst you get the best view of the arch as a whole from across the street, you'll also definitely want to use the underground tunnels to get up close to the arch itself. Whilst there, also take a look at the Eternal Flame, which burns constantly over the tomb of the unknown soldier to commemorate those who lost their lives in World War I. And if you're up for some climbing, you can also buy a ticket to go inside the arch and gain access to its rooftop observation deck for fantastic views over Paris. Tickets cost €22 in the summer and $16 in the winter. Access to the foot of the arch is completely free. And finally at number 1, as I'm sure it's no surprise to anybody, it's the Eiffel Tower. One of the most recognisable monuments in the world, the Eiffel Tower was built from 1887 to 1889 and designed by Gustave Eiffel for the 1889 Paris World's Fair. It was originally supposed to be a temporary structure, but it became such an iconic part of the Parisian landscape that it was decided that the tower should stay permanently. Nowadays, it's the ultimate symbol of Paris, and it goes without saying that one way or another, you absolutely have to see the Eiffel Tower when you visit Paris. So, to finish this video, we're going to go through a few of the best places to see the tower. Firstly, you can actually choose to go up the tower itself. Various ticket types are available from the tower's official website, depending on whether you want to visit the second floor or the top, and whether you want to use the stairs or the lift. We'll put the current prices for all of these ticket variations on screen now. If you choose not to climb the tower, there are still plenty of places you can go to get a good view of the tower from a distance. Firstly, there's Pont d'Iéna, which offers a direct view back to the tower. You can also get good views from the Promenade d'Australie by the banks of the Seine and from the Bir Hakeim Bridge. If you want a shot of the tower surrounded by classic Parisian buildings, head to the Rue de la Université. And finally, as we already mentioned, Trocadero is a great place to go for an unobstructed view of the Eiffel Tower from a distance. However you choose to see it, the Eiffel Tower is an absolute must-see on any trip to Paris. That's it for today's video. We hope you found it useful planning your own trip to Paris. If you have any questions about visiting Paris, please leave them in the comments and we'll be happy to get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more travel tips and tricks. Thanks for watching Rob on Holiday, and we'll see you next time.